Welcome to the Golf Report podcast. Today I'm joined by Liz Garfield, who is a senior on the women's golf team at Holy Cross, and Liz is also from Fairfield, Connecticut. Liz, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh yeah, always glad to talk with fellow Connecticut golfers. Not a whole bunch of us, but always glad to talk with fellow Connecticut golfers. So it's March 18th now. You're a senior at Holy Cross. Just tell me, how are things going in your senior year? As you wind down last few months, at Holy Cross.
Yeah, I mean, everything's good so far. We got to play in two tournaments, both in Florida, which, being
Mhm.
from the Northeast, makes all the difference because we probably won't be playing up here until April, I think is our first event up here. So, but yeah, everything's been pretty good. I think we haven't quite been playing our potential or anything yet, but we're definitely moving in the right direction. We had Kate, one of our sophomores, come top 20 in our last tournament, and it was a really competitive field. Definitely not an easy golf course. And then Phoebe, another sophomore, fired off a final round 75. So definitely excited, to see how the rest of our season's going, but we're definitely trending in the right direction.
Yeah. So tell me, how has the season been, for you and your team, and what was it like to go to Florida, and then just tell me, you have a few more tournaments in April. So, what do you see for the rest of your college career?
Yeah, I mean, we've been sort of practicing inside most of this semester, which has been hard, but gets a little boring at times. But I think we've done a really good job of just sort of pushing each other, keeping each other online. But yeah, being able to go to Florida, like I said, um, was great. We played against some really, really good girls. So I think being able to do that before, we start up here, should, put us in a good spot when we do get going in the spring. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. Obviously, we have a pretty young team, but I think even when I'm not here, they're just going to continue to like flourish. So yeah, I'm very excited for what the
Nice.
future holds.
And you said practicing indoors. Do you have facilities there at Holy Cross, or you just go to some place, it's indoors?
Yeah, so we use the IPF, which is our indoor practice facility, most of the week. So we'll go hit like foam balls basically for 2 hours. We do get to use, real balls for short game and everything. And then we split times. We just got a simulator, I think my sophomore year. So we'll split times in there with the boys. And that's been so much better. We'll get to do, putting drills, and different drills and things in there, which definitely helps. So it keeps things, as fun as they can be during the winter. But yeah, like I said, we're pretty excited to get outside soon.
Nice. Up there in Massachusetts, Holy Cross. Do you have any home course that you play, or you just play at local courses around, campus?
Yeah, so when we're in season, we play Worcester Country Club, which
Okay.
is great. Yeah, they've hosted some pretty big events. It's always in like really great shape. But we only play there 4 times a week, I think. So when we're not there,
Okay.
we play Green Hill, which is another course around here, which is really fun. And then there's like a little 9-hole course kind of next to school called Packagug that we also play a good amount. So yeah, we have some different options, but yeah, we love being able to go to Worcester.
Nice. So you're a senior, winding down, college career and time at Holy Cross. You've been the team captain your past 2 seasons. So, just tell me about being a senior, winding down your college career, a few tournaments left. And then just tell me about, what's it been like being the team captain, the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's been super rewarding for me. I think my teammates are all also sort of my best friends, so there's not really a sort of hierarchy like that, but we're definitely like one sort of cohesive unit, and Tate and I, my co-captain, are sort of at the helm there. But yeah, I mean, the girls have been great. I've been super fortunate, like I said, to be able to play on a team that's like not only, my teammates, but like my best friends. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss it. I think, our my 4 years here haven't been super normal. With my freshman and sophomore years, we're kind of impacted by COVID, and then my junior and senior years are when we really got back to normal. So yeah, it's been cool to, be able to be a captain during those times. And I feel like we're definitely like a huge transition for everyone. But yeah, I mean, sort of after this, I'm going to be moving to New York and working at a bank there. So I probably won't be playing as much golf. So I'm definitely trying to enjoy it as much as I
Mhm.
can for, the next 2 months. So
Yeah, so you touched on it. You have co-captain Tate Hedges. So just tell me about your relationship with Tate, who's, co-captain and, senior. And, you and Tate, do you support, and mentor, the freshmen and sophomore, the underclassmen, just tell me about that.
yeah, for sure. So Tate became one of my good friends freshman year. Obviously, we were like the two recruits for our year, and we've been good friends ever since. I think we work really well together. I think our sort of motto is to try to have like one mind, even though we're two very different people. I think when it comes to the important stuff, and like you said, just supporting our team, I think we work really well there. In terms of our freshmen, we only have two, but I think we've made pretty significant effort in making sure that, all of our underclassmen, upperclassmen really just are on the same page. We all get along. We do things a lot as a team. Tate and I try to do that pretty much as much as we can. And I think we've been able to sort of, form this really strong team bond with each other as captains, and then, also with the rest of our team. So,
So yeah, as we mentioned, I'll be talking with Kate, who's from Greenwich, Connecticut on Thursday. So, Kate's also from Connecticut like yourself. So, what's it like playing with a fellow player from Connecticut? Did you know Kate before she came to Holy Cross, or did you just meet her, when she came to school?
yeah, so I didn't really know her before. I think we had played in some similar tournaments. I think we both played in, CSGA events in the summers and things like that. We weren't really friends beforehand, but I think sort of right before school, right before her freshman year, I think we played in the Connecticut Open together and just immediately became good friends. So now we're best friends and we do pretty much everything together. So it's kind of nice having someone who's 20 minutes away. When we're home, we can play golf with each other, come to school, leave school, whatever, go home for a weekend. Yeah, so my relationship with Kate has been super important, and I think we're obviously going to remain good friends and hopefully continue to play golf with each other, even after I graduate.
Nice. So yeah, so let's just reflect. So you're a senior. So how have the past 4 years at Holy Cross have they been for you? And you mentioned you're going to work in a bank, in New York. After you graduate from Holy Cross, so just tell me about that. And just reflect on your time at Holy Cross.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I've had like a very positive experience. I've made really great friends. I've gotten an awesome education. I really can't complain. So yeah, obviously, working at the bank, because our alumni network is so strong, I was able to sort of make connections there, and they're always so willing to help out like fellow Holy Cross people. That's like the one thing I can say about Holy Cross is there's no like alumni network like us, because we are such a small school. I feel like we support each other like no other. But yeah, I mean, it's been an overall very positive experience. I'm definitely going to miss it. Definitely going to miss, playing competitive golf, especially at the, Division I level. And yeah, but I'm excited for the future. So
Yeah. So it says you're an economics major. So just tell me about being an economics major. When why you chose to be an economics major.
yeah, so we obviously don't have, like a business school or like a finance degree here. So pretty much if you're trying to go into any of those fields, you usually become an econ major. Yeah, I mean, I've met some really great professors who have been super sort of integral to like my career development and everything after. It's only been difficult. It's one of the harder majors, I would have to say. Obviously, I'm a little biased because it's my major, but being on the road and having to do, problem sets and have a bunch of tests and things for econ is definitely hard, but it's also been rewarding, trying to balance that with school. It's not always easy, but I've enjoyed it. So
So as we mentioned, you're from Fairfield, Connecticut. So tell me about growing up in Fairfield, and how you got started playing golf. Like what age you began playing, just some early golfing memories you have, growing up in Connecticut.
yeah, for sure. So I love Fairfield. It's probably one of my favorite places on the planet.
Okay.
I pretty much grew up playing. There's a little par 3 course on like South Pine Creek Road that my dad, my brother, and I would play just on the weekends when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And then when I was about 12, I met my swing coach, and he sort of introduced me to the more like competitive side of golf. I started playing in tournaments and just completely fell in love with it. And then I really started, playing at Tashua and Trumbull, which is like one of my favorite courses ever. I did a lot of like their junior programs, which they have a bunch of. They had an LPGA program that I did also with like a bunch of my friends. And yeah, it was just a really great environment, like for so many people my age playing golf. which, you don't normally think of being that popular up here in the Northeast, but it was. So I can't really say enough about, Tashua and like growing up playing in an environment where there are other people, my age, like trying to do the same thing. So yeah.
Growing up in Connecticut, what junior tournaments were you playing, growing up, or, what tournaments did you enjoy getting to play in?
Yeah, I played in a bunch of like US Challenge Cup, Connecticut PGA, Met PGA, FCWT, all those. But I really looked forward to most of the sort of state events like the Connecticut Open, the Connecticut Am, the Hartford Open. I felt like when I was little, it was like me and then all my other like junior golf girlfriends, got to play against girls who were in college and even beyond that. So it was like something for me to aspire to. I always felt like being able to play in those events with these girls who were just so good. And even now, I still look forward to those same events, and I'll think back about when I was like 12 or 13, my first Connecticut Open, how like scary it was. And now I'm, 22 going on 23, and hopefully I'll be able to play in at least one of those events this summer. So yeah, but those were probably my favorite growing up and even now.
Nice. So I'm from Milford. I live in Milford. You went to Lauralton Hall, which is in Milford, just right by me. You went there your freshman and sophomore years of high school. Yes, just tell me about going to Lauralton Hall.
Yeah, no, I loved Laurelton. I'd say most of my really good friends who I went there with, I'm still good friends with. And a bunch of people from Laurelton actually ended up at Holy Cross with me as well. So I played a year of varsity basketball there in addition to golf, which was great. But I got hurt twice my freshman season and kind of called it quits because it sort of interfered with my golf season. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. I think just for me, I sort of had to make the transition. I was, homeschooled for my junior, senior years of high school just because I felt like being in the Northeast, it's so hard when spring comes around, not having played outside or anything. I felt like I was sort of at a disadvantage when spring tournament season came around. So I made the transition, from Laurelton to the whole homeschool thing, just so I could, take my schoolwork and everything like to Florida, and be able to play in events there like all winter long. But yeah, that was pretty much my experience. But overall, I loved Laurelton, but I felt like I couldn't do enough with golf, had I stayed there.
Nice. So you chose online homeschooling for your junior and senior years of high school. As you were saying, would you spend all winter in Florida? Is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So I had like a group out of my golf academy. So it wasn't just me, part of the homeschool program. It was like me and like 5 other boys. And we'd go basically for the entirety of winter, we'd go play in like multiple events in Florida. And we got to stay in like a little golf gated community there and just practice all day, do our homework, whatever we needed to do, play golf. So it really was like the best of both worlds. And I felt like that sort of got me to the next level with my golf game that I probably wouldn't have been able to do in like a traditional high school setting. So
Yeah. So what was it like, doing homeschooling and, being in Florida, playing golf? Did you like homeschooling, or would you have preferred, to do a traditional, go to a traditional high school?
yeah, I felt like it can definitely get lonely at times.
Mhm.
Like I said, it was just me and like a few other boys. So I was like the lone girl there. But I think they're definitely different experiences. For what I wanted to do with golf, I felt like the whole homeschooling route was like the only way to go. Like I said, I don't think I would have been able to get my golf game quite where I wanted it had I stayed in that traditional setting, but I still, had a great experience. And I felt like I needed the first 2 years of my high school experience to be that sort of traditional setting. And then I think junior, senior year is when I really just got the discipline and my sort of mindset shifted towards like, all right, this is where I need my golf game to be. Like, this is sort of what I have to do.
Yeah. So yeah, you're senior at Holy Cross right now. What drew you to Holy Cross? You going to school up there in Worcester, Massachusetts, a couple hours from, Fairfield, Connecticut. What drew you, to go to Holy Cross, instead of, staying in Connecticut, did you want to go out of state, or did, you weren't sure going into it?
Yeah, I felt like Holy Cross was sort of the perfect distance. Like you said, it's
Mhm.
only like 2 hours away from us. So if I wanted to go home on the weekends, like I sort of had that option. But yeah, I definitely wanted to be out of state. I didn't want to be too close to home.
Okay.
But it's a super tight knit community. Like I touched on earlier, our like alumni network is something like it's just completely different from anything else I've seen, at least from, other colleges I know where some of my friends and like siblings and things go to. Um, but yeah, obviously the golf program was a huge aspect of it. I liked that it was smaller as well. Like I said, I typically thrive in the sort of smaller settings. So, but yeah, and everything I had heard about it from its alumni network, every person I knew who went here either had a great job, went to like a great med school, law school, business school, whatever. It just seemed like most of the people I knew who went to Holy Cross loved it. I'd never heard anything bad about it. So, and I went to Catholic school pretty much my whole life before my junior and senior year. So I felt, pretty at home here.
So you've been at Holy Cross now for 4 years, going to graduate, very soon. So what have you enjoyed most about your time at Holy Cross?
Yeah, I'd say definitely being on the golf team was a huge part of it. Like I said, most of my best friends came from my team. So being able to just travel with them and play competitive golf, there's really nothing better than doing what you love with, the people you love. So yeah, that's definitely been my favorite part. Obviously, I've taken some good classes. I've had some really great professors. Yeah, I mean everything's been pretty great since I've been here. So
So let's just talk about, tournaments you play outside of, college. So tell me about tournaments you get to play in outside of college, what tournaments you enjoy most, outside of college.
yeah, so definitely the, Connecticut Open's probably, I'd say one of my top. I feel like all of my really good friends from around where I'm from, who play in college now, like we always come back and we'll see each other at the Open, and then obviously being able to compete with girls who are that good um, is always really fun for me because I feel like I grew up with a lot of the girls I play these events with. Like I said, like we've been playing in these events together since we were little, and then being able to come home from college and be able to do that is really cool. So like I said, if I can play in the Open, which I'm pretty sure I can, I might be able to do the AM and the Open this summer. That's something I'm definitely going to look forward to.
So finally, Liz, you're senior in your, it's March of your senior year. So, you said you're going to graduate soon and then you're going to, start working at a bank in New York. So do you hope that, you'll get to compete, you know, in that golf will remain a part of your life after college, or do you think, you won't get to play as much, given that you'll start working soon?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try my best to, keep golf as a major part of my life. I think obviously I'm going to try to compete over the summer and everything, but even if it's just at like the recreational level, I'm going to still try to put as much time as I can into golf just because I feel like it's been such an important part of my life. It's something that I love and it's not something I'm ready to give up at all. So yeah, I'd say I'm definitely going to try at least to keep it as, an important part of my life.